exercise. So just lifting and rolling your shoulders,
Right.
letting you do your...
Yeah, please
Coffee
go
with
ahead. Just
Yeah.
get my hair out of the way.
And if you're cold, please say, and I'll take your wrapped up.
Yes.
Um,
Fine, thanks. Fine.
So then just standing, breathing in, bringing the arms up and out, bring the arms back. Turn the palms down and bring the hands out, bring the hands back and up, and lower. And we're going to repeat that a few times. Out, back, palms down, back and down. And as we do this, we're regulating the breath because we're moving the hands to correlate with the breath. So it slows the breath down without you thinking about it. And slowing the breath down starts to get into the nervous system, calming the nervous system down. And with that, more oxygen starts to get into the blood, more toxins out. And so your organs will start to operate on a more optimal level. I mean, it takes a little bit of time. But actually, just a few breaths will calm the nervous system down. You can be ceremonial about it and sort of just really sort of out and we'll draw it in and away. And the Eastern practice is a little bit more ceremonial. And just release and relax. Lift and roll the shoulders. And we now free off the neck by breathing in, turning the head to the left, only as far as you want to, and breathing out, turn the head to the right, into the left, and then out to the right. And then come back to the centre. And then this looks at your brain patterns. Raise your right arm and circle your wrists in one direction. And then circle the wrists in the opposite direction. And then the third part of this, I really struggle with. So it's turning one wrist one way and trying to do the other wrist in the opposite way that's non-natural. And it's a really, don't worry, because I've instantly gone wrong.
I'm going to the left and to the right.
Just
I don't know if I'm right or not, actually.
don't worry about it, it's just a thought process.
I
can't
do it.
Right.
I can't do it. So you bring your left arm up, we're going to try on the other side.
Clockwise.
It's your neural pathways that you're looking at. So left arm up, circle the wrists one way. And if you think about it, it's like playing the piano. I don't know if any of you play the piano, where your left and your right hand have to move in different ways. Turn the left the other way. And then you
clockwise and you do the other one anti-clockwise.
yes, so you do then you start with one, get the movement going.
Right.
So if one is clockwise and the other one is anti-clockwise, and your hands just lose it. And it's your neural pathways
Makes it feel very old.
odd. And then just release. It's a way of, like doing a puzzle or a code word, it's stepping outside the normal brain functioning, and it's just challenging your brain to create more pathways. So if, I don't know if Sarah's got anything to add here. It doesn't really matter if you go wrong, it's just trying to establish new pathways, because the neural pathways is what kind of goes apart in the brain injury or brain damage, or it's trying to establish that. So that's the purpose behind it. And then, as we did yesterday, on that aspect of, I suppose, getting older, balance is very good, as we know, But the traditional balances on one leg can stress you because you're wobbling and thinking about it, and it's, it's a little bit much unless you're holding on. You are quite allowed to hold on. And so this is, as I said to Natalie yesterday, something that's been explored more in the dance world, as my understanding is, where you've got the fluidity movement in dance, very much with a choreographer, dancer and yoga teacher for the Trinité Laban Conservatoire, and they look at balance in a slightly different way. So let's just have your left foot forward and your right foot back, and just come to rock backwards and forwards. You can take your foot off a little bit, you can lift your back foot, your front foot, or you can stay connected. And to get your balance a little bit more orientated, and then start to lift the front foot and lift the back foot as little or as much as you would like. So it doesn't matter if you're lifting it an inch or two or lifting it a lot. Actually, you're doing very well, Rosie.
I'm not usually on balance, I must say.
It's a different way of getting into balance.
I've never done it like this.
And then now, focus your attention only on your right foot. So you're still doing the same movement. Your brain, you're asking it to focus only on your front foot. Front foot at this stage. And then, having established that pattern, you can focus now only on your back foot, which means you probably lift your back foot up more, maybe.
It's mobility.
And then just do your own thing, your own style. You can really, dancers, these young 20-somethings, legs up there, I'm like the old croc, sort of just thinking, please don't watch me. And then just come to reduce the movement back to where we were in the beginning, and then just come to standstill. Come to feet vaguely together, hip width apart, and just sway from side to side before we go to the other side. So it's exploring balance, but in a slightly different way, perhaps, from the way that we've been used to. And again, young people, when they're going forward and the back leg goes up, they can twiddle the foot and they can do all kinds of things. But it's just a way of ticking the balance box a bit slightly differently. And again, you're asking your brain to become involved by focusing on one foot and then the other. And then start to slow the swaying down, and then come, I think it's to the right side, so right foot forward first. And just start by rocking forwards and backwards. The other thing, from as we get older, we cannot put weight evenly on the feet. And so this intro of almost rolling forward is actually activating the entire foot, which we tend not to use when we're getting older. You'll see older people shuffle and they're not using the tops of their feet in the back. Possibly the circulation diminishes as you get older. Again, Sarah, please feel free to add in any points here. And as the circulation retracts a little bit, then the circulation, their feet claw up a little bit, and they don't. And then they go like that, they shuffle.
Does that makes them bend over then?
Bend over.
Feet, the actual.
Well, if you're like this, you're shuffling like that, you tend to come over, because you haven't got your full balance. So you tend to come over and you're protective.
Support yourself.
But actually you need to come up. But
yes, I was thinking.
It's
22.
It's a very nice way to get the circulation into the foot. Let's put it that way. And then come to focus on the front foot, and you'll possibly come up more on the front. Because you are balancing, you can linger if you want to, or do a little flick at the back if you want to. And then when you've done that, start to think about putting your focus on the back foot. Just seeing how that alters your balance. And then beyond that, do freestyle and see what works for you. and then come to gently slow it down, and then just come to standstill and lift and roll your shoulders. Place the feet hip width apart, press the ground away from you, lift up, have your hands just relax by your side, but lift and rolling your shoulders open to here, your vitality point, your K27s, and turn your head from side to side, your chin's parallel to the ground, Tadasana, which is mountain pose, total balance, total standing balance. All standing poses should have this aspect of stacking the vertebra one upon the other and standing upright. And then just start to shake the hands out. Again, we're getting into circulation. If you've got arthritis or you've got anything on your hands, everything takes longer than you think. So really to get into it, it's not just a couple of shakes, it's really shaking it out and really just letting the hands go and just feeling that movement into the hands. And again, on the feet, standing, you can shake your legs out on one leg at a time. But the other thing that you can do is just to walk on the spot, and the vibration that it sets up in the body from the feet goes all the way up to the top of the head. So you can...
Like marching.
Like marching.
All the marches you see the military doing.
If you had a class of young children and you really wanted to get their attention and keep them amused, rather than marching, you could do them like star jumps. But I mean, we've done star jumps, I think, and it's exhausting. I don't think I could do that.
I couldn't do it now,
But still, children quite like it, don't they? And then,
yes, they need space. Yeah. Space.
Yes. And then just come to a standstill. Bring the hands to the heart, and we're going to do a couple of half salutes to the sun. So breathing in, soften the knees. Softening the knees puts the abdominal control on. Circle the arms up. You might want to straighten the knees. You're stretching, it's extension for the body. Your hands can be apart, they can be bent, they can be right up. You can look forward or you can look up. If you've looked up, bring your head upright, palms together. Bring the hands through the centre of the body. And we now come to exploring a forward bend. And in order to assist you on that, slide the hands down the front of the legs. That supports you. If you've got any back niggles, this will support you. Hands on the shins and a half lift. You come back to extension. The spine is straight, the chin is in. And then breathing out, soften forward. Bend the elbows and bend the knees. You're forward bending again, but very gentle. And breathing in, come back to extension. Lengthen the back. Bend the knees, press the feet into the ground, and you can use your fingertips to trace up the body, to roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. We come back to extension. These are back movements that we need to make for perfect health. And then breathing in, you can bend your arms at the elbows, raising up, doesn't matter where you come, you can hold or come straight. I'm clasping my hands here, I'm really stretching up. And I'm actually slightly going back and looking up, so that if you go as far as that, it is a back bend. If you've gone that way, bring your head to upright and then lower your hands. Just lift and roll your shoulders. And now we're going to do a lateral movement for the back. So left hand on the thigh, right hand up. You can snake it up to keep it easy to get your arm up. Chin into chest, just come over to the left. Breathing in, come to upright, stretch the right hand up and breathing out lower. And then breathing in, raise the left hand, stretch it up. Right hand supports on the right thigh, come over, chin to chest. You're not going to go very much, only just a little bit. It's a lateral stretch, which stretches out the intercostal muscles, helps with opening the lungs. Breathing in, come up, stretch up, and breathing out, the left hand. And we're going to do that again, but including a balance. So step your right foot over your left. I've got to think about this. So right foot over left, and right arm up, and just coming over to the left. And then breathing in, coming up, and lower the arm. You're slightly wobbling to keep the balance there, uncross the legs. Left foot over right, in front of right. Again, just doing that balance stresses the balance. Left arm up, and just coming over to the right slightly. Feel that your body is between two panes of glass, so it's easy to twist out. Just try and keep it in one line. And then when you're ready, come back upright and lower your arms and uncross your legs. Lift and roll your shoulders again, and we'll do another half salute to the sun. Just bring your hands, palms together. So back wing angst, pressing the palms together, activates there. Or I must increase my bust. Do you remember that?
I do, yes, I do.
So I don't.
Joyce Grenfell, something like
Oh, was it?
Maybe.
Joyce Grenfell.
Maybe that's going back a bit.
Yes, I remember Joyce Grenfell.
She was hysterical.
Yes, she was, wasn't she? So on your bust, leaving the bust thoughts aside, soften your knees, circle the hands up as far as you need to, a little bit or a lot. Really enjoy that stretch wherever you are, palms together, and then come through the heart centre again as you bend your knees. That protects your lower back. Slide the hands down your legs. This supports your back, but also tells you if you're coming forward, it's a sliding coming forward, how far you can go. When you're comfortable, half lift as you press your hands into your shins. Breathing out, bend in. And then breathing in, half lift. And breathing out, stay where you are. And then breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll the left shoulder, lift and roll the right shoulder. This opens the energy pathways, the Udana energy it is of the subtle essences going up into the head. And then just release, and then just gently, slightly go from side to side. So even on this side to side movement, as you're turning, you're subtly taking the back into rotation, but not very much. Just a very subtle rotation. And then just lift and roll the shoulders and place the right hand on the right waist, and then turn to look over the right shoulder or towards the right shoulder. You can, if you want, to keep your left hand on your waist as well, if you like your hands on your waist. Come back to the centre and then very gently turn, but you're edging your way in the turn to look over your left shoulder. Very gentle and subtle rotation. And then coming back to the centre, release the hands. And then we're going to come down to a seated position. We've got bolsters here, Sarah, so if you wanted support to sit, if you're not comfortable with your legs crossed, and have your legs out. And this practice looks at grounding you. And if you ground, so if you connect to the earth, you'll notice I'm sitting like this, so you can sit like this too. You bring the energy from the brain, where you're fizzing out, down through to the earth, so it's an anti-anxiety aspect. And people who potentially have epilepsy, I was reading about that, the kind of brain fizzes out a little bit. There is like electrical overload, and it fuses out. And they're too much in their heads, and they need to bring the energy down, and grounding them or holding their feet is supposed to that earth energy. So for people who stress out too much and think in their heads too much, then you're looking to bring the energy from the head down to the earth. And so connecting to the earth like this is quite helpful. So we're going to start by lifting and rolling the shoulders back. And then just lift one shoulder and drop it, and lift and drop the other one, and just side to side. And you'll notice that as you lift and just let it go and drop, there's that subtle, not vibration, but it's more of a, you feel it more. You're letting go of tension in your shoulder. To a certain extent, the neck, you're uncomfortable.
Bending like that, I'm not that comfortable.
Would you like
no.
to sit on a chair? Would you like to sit cross-legged? Would you like to sit?
I was sitting cross-legged, and I thought I'll try the bend. And I think I'm a bit crampy in my legs, anything to
Just say if you'd like a chair. So come to comfortable.
If I can sit cross-legged, that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, but your chair is there if you'd like a chair.
No, it's okay.
Sure. Lift and drop, and lift and drop, and lift and drop, and lift and drop. And then breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. We're beginning to focus on the neck. Breathing into the left. And breathing out to the right. And once more, into the left. And then breathing out, turn to the right. And come to the centre. Drop the chin to the chest, and the chin is like a pendulum, just semi-circle it up towards the left shoulder, not right over, just where it's comfortable. Come back, chin to chest again, and like a pendulum again, like a clock, the movement goes up to the right. And then come back to the centre. You can, if you want, to hold your hand against your chest, and this gives a sense of being supported with your neck, but that's optional, you don't have to. And then just place your hand on your chest and lift your chin upwards. So then, chin to chest, and drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. And the chin to the chest protects the back of the neck. And you can either stay like that, or you can take your right hand and very gently connect the fingertips to the side of the head, and you'll feel that stretch in the left side of the neck. You can take your left hand and gently place the fingertips on your left shoulder. This is a classic neck stretch, and for whatever the reason, I don't like it. It's an all therapy books. And then just very gently just support the head as you bring the head upright. Lift and roll the shoulders again. And then chin to chest as you let the left ear drop to the left shoulder. Feel the stretch on the right side. You can stay like that. You can take your left hand fingertips to the left top of the head. Just feel the stretch, and you can take your right fingertips to the right shoulder. You'll feel the stretch there in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can take your left hand to the left side of the head, just support it as you bring it up, and lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders again. And then coming back to the shoulders, breathing in, open your hands out, and breathing out, hug yourself and just slightly come forward. So you're opening the upper back, chin to chest, you're just stretching out that area that seems to carry so much tension. And then just breathing in, just come back up to the start, open the arms. Try and remember which arm is on top, because it's going to be the other one. Doesn't matter if you've forgotten. Come to the other side and just very, very gently. And then just release. And then we're going to come to lines. So if your legs are beginning to get a little bit stiff, then we're just going to release, relax out. Obviously they were stiff. And then come to line. And although this ostensibly is a relaxed pose, to let the body gather the energy in from the movement that we've made, I'm actually going to invite us to toes up to the ceiling, toes away. Your hands can be palms down, they can be resting on the abdomen. Toes up as you breathe in, and then toes away from you as you breathe out. Do that one more time. Toes up and then toes away. And then begin to circle the ankles in one direction. And then very gently think about reversing that direction. So circle the ankles in the opposite direction. And then just release. Just not to leave the hands out, keep the elbows on the ground, raise the hands up to the ceiling and circle the wrists in one direction. And then circle the wrists in the other direction. So all the blood supplied to the hands, of course, has to go through the wrists. And the wrists can just stiffen up, and gaps, carpal tunnel syndrome, for instance, can just close the gaps. So this is a nice way to open them. And then just release the hands back down again. So extend both heels. Toes are up to the ceiling. Just check that you've got space behind you. And breathing in, bend both arms. Raise both arms above you. Stretch. Chin will come automatically towards the chest. You can bend your arms at the elbows if that's helpful. And then when you're ready, start to breathe out. And then you'll find that your arms naturally follow. And just return the arms back to being alongside you, palms down. And then when you next breathe in, extend the heels. And again, arms up, stretching up above you. You can even join your thumbs if you want to, but you can keep a bend in your elbows if that helps. Start to breathe out. As you start to breathe out, you'll find that your arms naturally start to come back down again. And just release and relax your legs as well. And again, engage your heels, toes upwards as you do this again. Breathing in, arms above you. Stretching out. As you stretch, feel the under the arms opening. So this is your upper lymphatic system. We're connecting to our immune system here. Breathing out, and then lower the arms back down. Relax. And then twice more in your own time. And then when you've finished, bend one knee and then bend the other knee. Both knees are up to the ceiling, both feet are on the floor. And just a couple of pelvic, very gentle pelvic tilts, just easing out any stiffness in the lower back. So flattening your back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom, and then just going the other way. So there's no effort here, it's just a very gentle rock. Just to make sure that your spine isn't given a chance to get stiff. And then hug your left knee into the chest. And release the hands down to the earth and extend gently the left leg up to the ceiling. You can keep a bend in the knee. And then a fairly mad, just shaking of the left leg. Just can be a little bit, a lot. And the aim is creating that fluidity and movement, but you're also creating a vibration into the whole leg. If you felt cold or stiff at any point, this would go quite some way to unstiffening that. It can be almost mad, or it can be a very minimal movement, up to you. And then just bend the left leg into the chest and very gently place the left foot onto the ground. Just gently sway both knees subtly from side to side. Your hip will lift off, and in the back movement, because you need to move the back in a number of directions for optimal health and optimal spine health as well. And this is a very gentle rotation. So you're not, it's the merest exploration of a rotation. And then bring the feet back to the centre, knees upright. And then gently bend the right leg in towards the chest. Just extend the right heel up vaguely to the ceiling. I'm saying vaguely, you can keep your knee bent, then just begin to shake. You can be a massive shake or just a little shake. My understanding, I was talking to a therapist I trained with yesterday, that this type of movement not only explores the fluidity of movement, but it comes within a movement for trauma release. But we are just doing a little movement, the vibration. It's releasing energy patterns. And then just very, very gently bend the right knee into the chest and place the right foot onto the ground. And then just once more, you might like to have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Just let your knees drop to one side and your hip of the opposite will lift. The knees come upright, they drop to one side, and the opposite hip to the direction of the knees will lift as well. And just gently massage across the back of the bottom, really. And just very, very gently come to the centre. And then just hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. Hold the knees and just very gently rock from side to side. So this should feel very nice at the lower back. It's opening your lumbar vertebra at the base of the L4 and the L5 in particular, which do all the heavy duty movement. And you're also, by connecting to the ground and the earth still, massaging across the back of the head. So again, you're grounding the body, connecting to the earth. And the movement has a certain feeling about it, so it's somatic movement and disconnects the mind from thought process. So again, it becomes calming and earthing for the body. And then come to hug the knees into the chest. And very gently, as you breathe in, raise the left leg up to the ceiling, but you can keep a bend in the knee. And the left arm goes up and behind you. You can keep a bend in the elbow. If you want to, or just straighten both out. It's up to you. Your chin should come down to your chest, so no strain in the neck. And then when you're ready, breathe out and hug the left knee into the chest. And just slightly rock from side to side. Come back to the centre. And then when you're ready, breathe in, raise the right arm and the right leg, extend the right heel. You're stretching out the back of the leg. But you can keep a bend in the elbow or knee. And then when you're ready, start to breathe out and then start to hug the knee, right knee into the chest. And just gently rock from side to side. And then again, left side, left leg and left arm up behind you, extend the leg. For sciatica, this is very good, extending the heel if you can, and then breathing out, hugging the knee into the chest. And sciatica is not just the sciatic nerve, now the right side, it's general compression of the lower spine that could press on the nerve and cause issues, and then the right side, and breathing out, hugging the right knee into the chest. And now once more to each side, breathing in the left leg, left arm goes up behind you, hugging the knee into the chest, and then the right side, and then hugging into the chest, and just once more, hug both knees and just rock from side to side. And come to the centre with the knees, and now move the knees in the opposite direction, so hug both knees into the chest. Still hold the knees as you let them drift away from you to arm's length. And just repeat that a few times in your own breath pattern. Just moving across the lower back in a slightly different way. Very soothing for the lower back. And here, you're balancing one of the other energies, the Apana energy. It's a downward illuminating energy. It's often connected because it's with the earth, with a feeling of safety or not safety, security. So just very gently. Then hold the legs underneath, perhaps to support them, and then place one foot and then the other foot down on the ground, and your knees are back up to the ceiling. Just subtly sway the knees from side to side. And then bending the elbows, raise the elbows up behind you and clasp your hands, placing your clasped hands under your head. And your elbows are opening like wings, like butterfly wings. If that's too strong under the arms, for some people perhaps who've had surgery under their arms, this is too much to open outwards. So to lessen that opening, you can always slightly bring your elbows upright and that will close that gap. But this is very helpful for the upper lymphatic system, which is your immune system, your upper respiratory system. And just stay here as you take an in and an out breath. It's quite a stretch under the arms. And then we now just look at the core, which we haven't looked at specifically, although in yoga you should always have a slight engagement of the abdominal muscles towards the spine to subtly engage your core throughout. But this actually does look a little bit more at the core. So when you're ready, breathe out and lift your head up from the ground a few inches. The more you lift up, your elbows might come together, that's fine. Chin comes to chest. And then just relax back down to the earth and open your elbows out to the side. And just take a recovery in and out. And then breathing out again, lift the head up off the ground, chin to chest. Feel the abdominal muscles have to engage, but you're actually also supporting your head and neck, and then when you're ready, just release back down again. And then this time we do the same, but as we breathe out and come up, we just slightly turn to the left so that the right elbow slightly goes to the left. Not a lot, just moving slightly different muscles, and then come back down to the earth. Open the arms out. Take a recovery breath in and out. And then again, when you're ready, you breathing out, lift the head up, elbows slightly come together, and you go to the right. Subtly engaging, different way, your back's being supported for it. Release back down to the ground. And then just very, very gently slide the hands out from under the head. Place the hands, palms down on the mat, and just hold the outside of the mat and pull the mat with holding it towards your feet. Bring your feet themselves slightly closer to your bottom, and just a couple of little pelvic tilts. You're holding the mat and you're pulling the mat towards your feet, and then press your feet down and do a little supported bridge lift coming up a little bit. You might come a millimetre, you might come a few inches off the ground, and then breathing out, relax your back down to the ground. It's a way of supporting your bridge posture. And then release your hands away from the mat and place your hands palms down alongside you. And then pressing your feet into the ground, lift a little bit or a lot. Bend your elbows and just raise your elbows up above your head, your chin comes to the chest. If you do come up a lot, then feel that someone's holding your knees aren't splaying out. And then breathing out, lower the back down to the ground. You might have only come a millimetre, and then release your arms back down to the ground. When your back is on the ground, then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. And just very, very gently rock from side to side. And then think of both knees as one unit. So, still holding your knees, just circle both knees in the same direction. And you can circle them a little bit, or you can circle them a lot. And this focuses the thought and the weight onto the lower back again, almost above the sacral level. And then just circle both knees in the opposite direction. And then just enjoy hugging the knees into the chest, and then supporting your legs underneath to place both feet on the ground. Have your bolster handy, and taking your bolster, lift your bottom and just slide the bolster underneath your bottom so that your bottom rests back down on the bolster, your hips are supported. Right.
Bit of a manoeuvre.
If that's too much, then don't worry. It's just a very supported
Under the bottom.
under the bottom. If that's too much, don't. Just support yourself to relax back onto the floor. Palms down beside you. And then bend one knee into the chest and then bend the other knee into the chest. And then raise one leg and then the other leg up. So it's a very supported inversion. You can have your legs subtly bent. You can just slightly circle your legs in one direction. I see Sarah's gone. I don't know if she's tuned out or perhaps she hasn't gone, or the phone's gone black. I don't know what's happened there. And then just very gently, you don't look comfortable there, Rosie.
I'm okay. I'm not quite sure I'm doing the right thing at the minute, but
Just to be comfortable, to have your legs upright. How does that feel?
it's because my bottom doesn't seem to want to go onto the bolster.
Okay.
It goes beyond the buttocks. It's like on the thighs, really.
Are you
So I'm not
comfortable?
really quite on. It's not uncomfortable. I'll just shift it. No. It's moving, or I keep moving.
Does that feel?
Still not on it, really. It's weird.
So just place your feet on the ground and just enjoy a subtle lift at the hip level. So that's still giving you a benefit. And anybody else, if you've had enough, then bring your feet, bend your knees and bring your feet to the ground. Because the blood's slightly going back to the heart, it's less effort for I think it's the venous return. And then just very gently. So this is an inversion. And then just very gently bend the knees. Release and support under your legs if you need to release the feet back down to the ground. Again, you're supported under the hips. Just take an in and an out breath. And then you might want to come out of that because I can hear you coughing, so you might want to be slightly the other way around if you've got a particular cough.
It's when lying down, I
Not
find I
like
start
this.
to cough. It's lying down, I think, a bit.
Probably. Yeah, so
Brings
then
on a
we'll come
cough.
out of that, just lifting the
Yes,
bottom and sliding the support out, hugging the knees into the chest. Yeah, if you've got a cough and you're blocked in some way, it's sometimes nice to be semi-propped up the other way, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm mindful of that. Just hug the knees into the chest. And then when you're ready, come to, in your own time, to a gentle seated position. I've no idea what the time is, I've just suddenly thought it might be.
It's like 5 to 1.
Is it? Or maybe Sarah had to
Just
go
before
for that. I
5 to
don't know why
1.
my phone's suddenly gone black. It's interesting. 5 to 1. So we'll just finish by coming to a comfortable position. If your legs are hunched up, then just have your legs out. Hands to either side of you. Don't have to sit cross-legged if you don't want to. Just raise the right hand, chin to chest, slide the left hand out, just go over to the left, so that stretches your right side. Tummy in, perineum engages, so you come upright, slide the left hand back. And the right hand connects to the earth, slide the right hand away, and then come to the other side, chin to chest. Come to upright, lower the hands. And then just bring the hands to the knees, sit up, lengthen the spine, and then just have a nod forward, a nod to a forward movement. It's so subtle. As you come forward, you'll feel this potential in your outer hips. And then come sit up. And then just a very subtle sitting up, rounding chin to chest a couple of times. And then just come back to sitting upright. And just breathing in, notice the breath of the nostrils. It's slightly cool. And just follow the breath in your mind's eye. Where does it go to? And then as you breathe out, the breath is slightly warmer at the entrance of the nostrils. And a couple of breaths in your own breath pattern, noticing the in breath cooler, the out breath is slightly warmer. And then just gently let the thought of the breath go. And bring your thought to either yourself
someone close to you, have a thought for the day, setting your intention for the day. And then let that thought go, and know that the intention's been set. And then just bring your hands together, thumbs to the forehead, kind thoughts.
Thumbs to the lips, kind words.
Thumbs to the heart, kind deeds. Thank you. I'm going to just